Welcome, fellow travelers. I'm Joe, and this is Good Times RVing. Today, I'm talking about convenience. This is something that I've wanted to do for a while. Um, Earlier in my life, I've had issues with lug nuts loosening and, quite honestly, departing the vehicle. So I've always been sensitive to the tightness of lug nuts. Granted, the main wheels have caps on them, so they don't move, and if they do move, they'll hit the cap. If the cap departs, then I know I've got an issue. So I'm not so concerned about the lug nuts on the RV itself. Of course, they're tightened to 450 foot-pounds, so they're pretty darn tight. However, the dolly and the car always keep me kind of on my toes. So I've decided I'm going to, at least on the dolly, I'm going to invest in some witness marks. A witness mark knowing that the nut has in fact not moved. This is a cross-check torque seal, and it keeps it creates a paint bridge between the wheel and the lug nut, or the lug nut and the stud. In my instance, the stud is not exposed, so it's the wheel and the lug nut. And then you put a little paint bridge there, and if the lug nut moves, of course that paint bridge breaks, and that's quite obvious when you just take a quick glance at it. I do walk around. I always walk around the dolly because any number of things can go wrong there. Check the tires, take a gander at the lug nuts, make sure there's still all five of them are still there. But I really don't walk around with a torque wrench and verify in fact that they're torqued to 120 foot-pounds. So I'm thinking that, I really should have a witness mark so I know that those lug nuts are tight. And this comes from my days in aviation, where everything has either a safety wire or a witness mark on it, so you know that everything stays secure. So in any event, I've got cross-check torque seal, and this will tell you if the nut has moved from its original torque spec. And this will also tell you if somebody's been tampering with your fasteners. I had never really thought much about that, but if you happen to scare somebody off in the time, when they're trying to steal your wheels, and you don't happen to notice it, you can end up driving with loosened fasteners. Not a good thing. So I've got this cross check. I'm going to apply it to the lug nuts of the dolly, and just so I can do the quick visual and see that in fact everything is tight on the dolly. My last trip, I don't know if you watched my last video, I had a flat tire. When these things just come out of the blue for no apparent reason, they just happen. So I wanted to apply this, and I'll give you a better view of this. So this is what I happen to choose for my application, but there are any number of paints that are available that will provide a witness mark on your lug nuts, or for that matter, any other fasteners that are critical to operation. So let's go outside. We'll go torque those tires, make sure those lug nuts are torqued properly, and we'll apply some witness marks on them. Note that I put a wheel chock on it just to keep it from rolling. You'll have to trust me, I need two hands for this. So I have verified that all the wheel lugs are at least 120 foot-pounds. Okay, here I'm putting the paint on the wheel and then bridging it over to the lug nut. It's not the neatest in the world, but on the wheel and then bridge it over to the lug nut. And that way, if that nut moves in relation to the wheel, it'll break that bridge, and then it'll become quite obvious that the nut has moved. And here, all 5 of them are done. I've bridged from the wheel onto the surface of the nut. I've done the insides so you can see at a glance, you can see 4 of them. If you happen to have to see the 5th one, you can use your cell phone, and if something looks amiss, you can use your cell phone to just take a peek at it. But normally, if there are 4 of them are in good condition, they're properly torqued, you will not have an issue, even if that 5th one is compromised. So I hope you found that useful. It's something to think about, if not entertaining at least, my sloppy application of the ink. But it appears that it will be functional, and that is my goal, is to be functional. Of course, I had to do other nuts, and show you some pictures here, just couldn't resist. But I'm actually, with more practice, I'm getting a little neater in the application of the torque spec witness marks. In any event, I hope you found that entertaining. And I'll again put the ink that I used there. It is a thicker witness mark than most, but I'm hoping that'll work out well. It certainly is bright enough so that you can see a loose fastener. In any event, happy trails. See you on the road. I'm Joe, and this is Good Times RV.